All right.
All right. I think we are live. Can everyone see and hear us?
Hi.
Sure. All right. It's always a little bit of a lag, so
It's weird.
it takes a minute.
Yourself.
Now, when I talk, I pretty much look up in the camera,
Okay,
because if
yeah.
you look up in the camera, then it looks like you're looking at them. Hi, Angeli.
Not staring at yourself.
Yeah. Okay, so I have my friend, Mrs. Nicole Shepherd. They recently moved to our church not too long ago. How long has it been now?
November, I came down.
November?
After Silas was born.
Okay. And she knows a lot. I've had her on before, I don't know, a year or two ago when they were visiting our church actually and spent the night. But now she lives here, so we get to talk about it all the time. So we might have kids popping in and out. Abby's watching. Yeah. She's got her Evie and Silas, her newborn here. And then I've got the baby and Lana, and Abby's watching them. So we'll see what happens.
Pray for Abby, guys.
Yes. 2 newborns. Silas is what, 3.5 months?
No, just 3 today.
Oh, okay. And yeah. And Hannah's like a little over, almost 2.5. So they're like 3 or 4 weeks apart.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they're close.
It'll be interesting. All right, but we're glad we joined you. I know a lot of women have a lot of interest in this subject, and we are just winging it.
Yep.
Nicole does have notes.
I have notes, but I have no plan.
Yeah, so we're going to see how it goes.
So we did ask like a couple ladies like what you would be interested in hearing about, and most of it was like women care and stuff like that, postpartum, after kids, PMS, dealing with just the depression and things like that after you have a baby. It seems to have been a little hard this year.
Yeah.
Probably the stress from the insanity of the world.
Yes.
Doesn't help.
But they would love to see the babies before the show ends.
Okay.
I'll text Abby and tell her to bring them in. Her baby is huge. He's like a sumo wrestler.
Yeah, he's busting. I just switched the clothes over, and like I got 6 to 9 month clothes for him today, and like I got a 6-month outfit out, and I had to like squeeze him into it. I was just like, okay.
She is a Wonder Woman. She had he was after a C-section.
Yeah, so he's my primary VBAC.
Yes.
Yep.
She had twins via C-section before him. He was what, 10 pounds something at birth?
10.2. Yeah.
All natural home birth.
Yeah,
I can't believe she did it.
I was really glad that like I wasn't thinking about the fact that it was a VBAC like while I was having him, because it probably would have like freaked me out.
That's crazy, but he's still huge. So we'll try to get him in here. Hey, Sarah. Here's Sarah.
Hey, guys.
We see a lot of people we know. Yeah, 10'2". Yeah, he's still huge.
Yeah.
Wait till you see him. He's cute though. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so postpartum. So I kind of stuck with, I don't know if any of you guys do herbs or whatnot. They're pretty, like if you just Google these, like, oh, herbs for postpartum, this is pretty much going to come up for you. So it'll be easy to research, whatever you want to do. I didn't really get in depth with like weird Chinese herbs or anything like that.
Like this one that I'd never heard before. Which I mentioned, Shatavari.
But it's, natural remedies are like really like gaining ground. So I mean, you go out there, you can find all sorts of stuff, because that's the thing too, is like one of these things might not work so well for someone and they might work really well for someone else, like you were talking about with the fenugreek and stuff like that. Sometimes it really helps your milk supply, and other women it like depletes it. So okay, so my number one for postpartum is going to be motherwort.
I'm not even taking that. I need to.
Yeah. So it's like a relaxant. It's an antispasmodic. It tones the uterus, supports the heart, and it's really good for anxiety. So, but one thing is it tastes terrible. Tastes terrible. So a lot of these things I would suggest, and even just for the strength wise, doing extracts of some sort. Now that's going to differ with your comfortability of how you want to extract it or what kind of extract you want, because traditionally people do tinctures and alcohol base. If you're not comfortable with an alcohol base, there's many other options. You can do a glycerin base. You can find lots of non-alcoholic extracts online now. So all sorts of options, but I would definitely suggest an extract for the motherwort. I've tried tea with it. Me personally, it was just way too bitter.
Yeah.
Like it was horrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and then also I'm sure a lot of you have heard about St. John's wort and just, how powerful that is for helping your mood and just relax everything out that way. They've done a lot of studies on it, and it really does help depression. And so that's something, but it does also interact with pharmaceuticals. It's one that they found where.
And Sarah had said something about St. John's wort. Sarah Turner. It said something about her mom had a really bad reaction to it.
Yep. So, and it's phototoxic. So like that's something. I have a friend that struggled with depression, and she liked to be outside a lot, and like she realized like her skin would turn really red if she was taking her like it worked really well for her as an antidepressant, but she was outside too much in the summer. She couldn't take it in the summer because it'll make you sensitive to the sun. So there are some, you know, you got to find what works for you. These are just some things that I know do work for a majority of people.
Angelique asked, how do you consume extract?
So it'll mostly be a liquid form. So you could either you can directly drop it in your mouth if you want. You can,
might be better though.
Some of them, like I have a valerian extract that I really like. That's not too bad. It kind of tastes like a gross black licorice, but it's not that bad, you know? So there's that.
Mix it in water, juice, even?
Tea, juice, hide it in something. You know, a lot of my tinctures or extracts, I'll just stick right in a tea and then put honey in, and my kids or whatever, they just drink it for the most part. But yeah, so yeah, again, just ask, like if you do take prescriptions or something like that, check. Like I'm not an expert. I don't have all the, you know, don't take it if you do this or whatever.
Right.
So just make sure to do that. Oh, and then, so my next one is one that I like taking a lot, like I said, is valerian. Valerian, it's super gentle. Like you can even give valerian to kids. Like
that might be in. Do you know that little? I should have brought it. That stress anxiety.
Yeah, it probably is.
I think it might be in that.
Yeah,
one.
It probably is. It's definitely, it relaxes. It's good for sleep. Like if you're having a hard time sleeping with everything, racing thoughts and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so I find that you can get a lot of these extracts too, like on Amazon or wherever.
Amazon's my favorite.
I'll give a few. Yeah, I'll give a few places too at the end that I like to buy my stuff from. But yeah, it is a sedative, the valerian. So, you know, it's not too much. Like I'll even take it in the morning. Like it's enough to just chill me out if I'm feeling kind of like really on edge, or like if I feel like I'm going to snap or something on the kids.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, need to chill out for a little bit. But yeah, like I said, it's even safe for kids. That one's a really good go-to. And yeah, so those are some things that if you're just struggling, like right after you have a baby, depression, wanting to snap, that kind of just, you're just off, you know, you have a baby and you're just off. Your hormones have got to regulate, and it's natural. Remember that. You're not crazy.
Even though you feel like it.
You feel like
This was my worst postpartum this time. I'm finally over it. I'm over the hump. Thank goodness I feel normal. I was just thinking today, I'm like, as I was driving, I'm like, I finally feel normal again. Thank the Lord, because it was bad. It lasted for 6 weeks this time. 6 or 7 weeks. So long. And they tell you, you know, be careful. Don't let it last more than 2 weeks or something. It was longer than 2 weeks. But I knew it would even out.
Yeah, I don't take their recommendations that much. But
yeah, it would even out. But I did take some of the pink stork I told you about, the hormonal support. And that had the, yes, I think that really helped. It took the edge off. And that had the ashwagandha in it.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Lots of adaptogenics. So like, because I know a lot of women were talking about hormone balancing herbs. And so yeah, if you like Google adaptogenics, I think that's how you say it.
I never heard that.
There's ashwagandha. There's another one, astragalus, I think. And those will be really good for helping to just balance that mood and that, balancing out those hormones.
Now this shots of I was looking up, and it's $30 a bottle for that hormonal support. So I was looking for something a little cheaper because it's $30 for a month. And I found this in my research. It's called Shatavari, and that's supposed to be for, it says on here, it supports the reproductive system and promotes normal hormonal balance.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Is there anything else in there? Is it just that?
I think it's just the Shatavari.
Okay.
It says contains 0 other ingredients, vegetable capsule.
Okay, yeah, so it's just that root.
And it says it's rich in vitamins K and A. It contains B complex, manganese, flavonoids, polyphenols and saponines. I don't know what that is.
Mhm.
Providing support for the management of PMS, menopause, breast health, fatigue, and stress and depression.
Yeah. And I think that's where a lot of our issues stem from
Mhm.
nowadays is nutrient deficiency.
Probably, yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't have studies or anything I can point you to, but just from my research, like that's
Mhm.
just what I would guess. I think a lot of it is nutrient deficient.
And then someone asked, do you know if any of these interact with consuming placenta?
No, I wouldn't think. I would think that's safe. And I would actually, I'm glad you brought that up. I would actually highly recommend that. It's weird, but
I wouldn't do it.
yeah, you have to.
That's a little too much for me.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, you have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot that goes into that because your body's depleted. It goes all into that placenta, and then when you're taking that back in, you're replenishing all.
I see.
All that, and it's actually. I mean, I know we're not animals or anything,
Yeah.
but lots of animals do that, and that's why. It's because it's
Mhm.
replenishing everything that you lost.
I have heard that sometimes if women are hemorrhaging,
Yes, you
just
can
a
take
little,
a piece. Yeah,
a little piece will stop it.
yeah,
but
that's an old midwives thing
Mhm.
from years ago. Yeah,
it's a little too much for me though.
Yeah. You'd have to be bleeding out.
Yes, bleeding out in a forest and running from people
Yeah.
before I would do that.
I'll just blindfold you and be like, Sandra, just take this.
Yeah, open up. I'd have to be like out of it delirious.
But yeah, so I would say that's pretty safe. I mean, that's you that you're taking. That's your, you're not putting anything foreign into your body, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So, I mean, again, obviously, if you're doing that, you probably have a midwife. So check with your midwife.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and then Angela asked, would you recommend taking supplements, capsule forms of these things, just the regular you can buy at health food stores?
Yeah, you can. The extract is going to be the strongest form. So it depends on, how are you struggling? Is it like, I take that valerian in an extract because I want it to work like immediately. If you're going to take it, if you're good, taking a daily basis, and you just want to get that into your system and regulate it, then a capsule form would probably be really good too.
Because the tincture, that just instantly hits, where the capsule has to dissolve and takes a little bit longer. And the tincture is more, you make tinctures, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have a couple times, but not lately.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's all different ways. It's really simple. It's just taking the time to do it and whatnot. So, so I got a couple recipes. Now, some of these herbs, obviously, I'm not covering, but the recipes I took out of, I'll show you guys. I like the recipes in this book. This one, Herbal. It doesn't really have an author. It was
rented this from the library.
Yeah, it was like put together. I don't know. I think it's a compilation. But so a lot of these recipes that I have are out of this book that I like. So
I have heard that too about peppermint completely drying out your milk supply.
Yeah, peppermint and sage too. Yeah, stay away from sage.
How is oregano? Does that as well?
I think that's safe. I have that list.
I would like to know that about oregano. I've used oregano before for strep throat infections, and I didn't know if I was able to take that while breastfeeding.
Yeah. Of course, they're listed in Latin, so
yeah. They're in alphabetical order, but it has it like next to it.
Oregano. Anybody know the Latin name
friendly herbs
for oregano? Yeah, so these are lactation friendly, so they're not going to dry you up. They're not gonna pass anything to the baby. I'm not seeing oregano on here, so maybe
it says spearmint's okay.
Yeah,
just not peppermint.
Yeah, well, and sometimes, so like here, it does put peppermint on, but it gives the little indicator that there's some controversy on it, so you're gonna want to look it up.
And it's the same thing with fenugreek. I've heard some women say that it can completely dry you up, and then some women swear by it.
Yeah.
So, look at that. Kelly Spears knows it.
Oh, okay. What is it?
Oreganum vulgare.
Okay. I was wondering if it started with the O. Sometimes it does. Yeah, I don't see it on here. So I would look it up and see what you think. Like now, again, too, like something, if you're going to use oregano topically, I'd say you're probably fine.
Yeah. It's just
internally. If you're going to take it internally, then I would definitely check on it.
Yeah.
But
it's a potent thing too.
Yeah. So, and then most of these, I I tried to double check everything and make sure that it was okay while breastfeeding. And the Dong Quai, sometimes it's Chinese Angelica. There's a little controversy on it. Some people take it. I've personally taken it and been fine. But so this recipe is a chasteberry and Dong Quai extract. And now chasteberry is something I wanted to get into too about hormone. Yeah, Vitex is what it's known by too. It's a big hormone regulator. So that's going to really, and so is the Dong Quai. And so those together are going to really just help mellow out those hormones for you right after you have that baby. And so they also put in there motherwort and black haw and chamomile. And so
chamomile will mellow you out.
Yeah. Well, and I'm finding it a lot when I was going through postpartum kind of stuff. And this is also really good for PMS. So I know a lot of ladies were asking us just about dealing with PMS and things like that. And this is another one that would be really good. I was finding they were quite interchangeable, unless you were finding some herbs that were dangerous while you were breastfeeding. But most of it was pretty interchangeable. So this was on page 203 in that Home Herbal book. And another note that I found while I was researching is the motherwort. So some women have really heavy bleeding after having a baby. I would kind of steer away from the motherwort if you have heavy bleeding. It tends to actually regulate and bring on bleeding.
Yep. Oregano can do that as well. Yeah. What is it called? The thing that stimulates.
Immunogogue, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
So if I'm probably butchering all these.
You're doing better than me. And then someone said I bled a lot with my last home birth. My midwife popped a piece of placenta in my mouth and gave me something that tasted like dirt, among other things that helped stop the bleeding.
Yeah, probably shepherd's purse.
Did it taste like dirt?
Shepherd's purse really earthy.
Amanda. There's Talia. And then Amanda said, is there anything to take for the third trimester crazies? If there was, I should have taken them when I was in my third trimester. Or is it best not to take anything until after?
Well, third trimester is when I really start focusing in on like uterus strengthening herbs, like raspberry leaf tea.
Raspberry leaf would be good.
Yeah, there was one that I found in here too. I don't know, lemon balm, something like that. I'm gonna have to look it up. Don't take me at that.
Yeah.
But there was another one in there that was really good for regulating the crazies and whatnot.
Yeah, she's 36 weeks now.
Amanda? Yes. And probably going stir crazy.
Yeah, laying there all day, probably. Yeah.
So you have time to research all this, Amanda.
Yeah. Look up red raspberry leaf. I know that's really, really good.
It is, yeah. And the only thing with that, like I actually started drinking it pretty early on in the pregnancy. But if you're like prone to having miscarriages or something like that, you might want to steer away.
With the red raspberry, really?
Yeah, I've never had any problems with it, but it people have said that it causes problems because early on, like, I mean, I'll start drinking it right away, but some people should probably wait. And then, so another one.
Now, can you explain how do you make your tincture?
Okay. So depending on what you want to do.
That's what I need to know.
So it's basically just an extract. And so you're just going to take whatever herbs you have in your recipe, find out, you basically mix a recipe of what do you really want to come through? Do that, so you do it in parts. So do like a whole part of whatever you really want to come through. And then you can add your ones that you want to assist, like your assisting herbs. I don't know. I'm not professional.
But you put all the herbs into
a jar, and then you just cover it with your medium or whatever you want to extract it with. Now, what you're choosing might have different things. Like you can extract with the alcohol, like I said, which is a more traditional route. And it's going to extract the most because the more alcoholic your base is, then the most extraction you're going to get from your herbs. And then also the alcohol goes straight into the bloodstream. That's why they use the alcohol too, is so it goes straight into the bloodstream and you get all those medicinal effects. So you just cover it and then you would let it sit for about 4 weeks is average and just shake it up whenever you walk by it or whatnot, and then just strain your herbs out and you're good to go. And the alcohol base, I would say, will last almost indefinitely.
Wow.
But then, like I said, so if you're doing glycerin, you're going to want to dilute your glycerin. Same with honey. You can extract with honey. Actually, I have an idea to make a kid's multivitamin with some honey extracts. But so you're going to want to dilute that a little bit with some distilled water, something like that. And then just so it's like shakeable and you can actually move around the herbs and it's not like a big thick glob of glycerin. Then
can you do vinegar? I feel like I did vinegar. I won't do alcohol just because I don't want to buy it. You know,
exactly.
I don't want to buy the alcohol.
Yep.
So,
yeah, I was actually thinking of making homemade wine for the purpose that I would not have to then go buy alcohol from anywhere, but still get a good extract. And then I was thinking about it. I don't know if I'll ever get around to it.
Just don't be like Anna Green Gables and hide it in the cupboard.
And be drinking your cherry cordials.
Yes, that would be bad.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, it's always kept very high up. In my house.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, you can extract with glycerin, honey, vinegar.
The one I did was vinegar. When I was having bladder infections, I got a bunch of herbs that were supposed to be good for that, and I did an extract, and then I would take it after it was done. I think so. Eventually, they just went away, but it was a struggle getting them to go away. So
yeah. And sometimes your body's just so off. It just,
and that was after Abby, and I had 3 babies in 4 years. So I was just really run down.
Yeah. I don't think you notice it until you start having like 3, 4 kids. You're just like,
I was really run down.
It.
Angelique asked what herbs I take. I cannot remember. I had to research it. And then I ordered them from, I think that Mountain
Rose.
Yes. Yeah. I ordered them from there. And then I made a tincture and was taking it. It was really gross, but
yeah, they don't typically taste well.
No,
that's why that spoonful of sugar. So
yes,
yeah. But yeah, so so this one is a cramp bark and valerian extract. So this is really that chasteberry donquai is going to really focus in on hormonal problems. This cramp bark and valerian is really going to focus on physical problems like cramping, pain, headaches, that kind of stuff. So if you're more that way, I would venture towards this. They've got 1 part cramp bark, 1 part valerian, 3/4 chamomile, and 3/4 passion flower. So yeah, so that's more of a pain reliever, stress reducer. Also good for postpartum.
I want to like get all the stuff now and make this stuff.
I know. Seriously, it's my happy place when like my kitchen is just messed with herbs and like
That's funny.
And then so then postpartum sitz bath.
Ooh, I should have done that.
I know.
Good.
I can say all this, and then it's like, do you think I would take the time to do it? No.
You just had a baby.
But I would really, I don't really tear though. So like it's that aspect of it. But if you're somebody that tears or like, has like, you're really sore down there after you have a baby, I would suggest a sitz bath. That's just a shallow bath with a very strong concentrated tea poured into it. Some people take the herbs, put them in cheesecloth, throw them in. Some people brew it beforehand really strong and then pour it in. Kind of just depends.
And they have little sitz baths that you can even buy, right?
Yeah, pre-made.
Like go on the
on the toilet or whatever that you can just sit in. Yeah. And they should have like pre-made herbs or something that come with it. But yeah, so these again are all these recipes are in there. And then we wanted to talk about breastfeeding. So like,
you didn't say what was in the sitz bath.
Oh, okay, yeah. So 2 parts calendula, chamomile, and lavender, and then 1 part yarrow and shepherd's purse. So you've got those really soothing herbs, the calendula, chamomile, and then you've got the yarrow and the shepherd's purse, which are gonna they're astringent, so they're gonna stop bleeding.
Nice. Yeah. And then Jen asked, is there something besides ginger and peppermint for nausea? She's battled nausea her whole pregnancy.
Ginger and peppermint. I mean, I would look for things that say, try chamomile. Try something that's going to just settle the gastrointestinal area, right. Something, because ginger and peppermint are your go-tos, but they're strong. And if you're not liking them, then
ginger is kind of gross.
Yeah, it is.
I don't like ginger very much.
Yeah. Funny, my husband loves ginger and he's like the pickiest eater in the
world. That is funny. I don't mind it in Chinese sometimes, but the ginger tea, I would do that when it did help with the nausea. But sea bands, have you tried sea bands? I know There was things with the pressure points.
No, I haven't never tried those.
Someone I knew that was pregnant, that was the only thing that helped her, was she would wear the C-bands. They have the pressure point to help. It's kind of like on your wrist to help stop the nausea.
So then breastfeeding we wanted to get into. So that's going to be called, like, if you're looking at herbs or whatnot and you want to look for a thing, it's called galactagogues.
It sounds so sci-fi.
I know, doesn't it? Like, I remember, like, way back when I first started walking into herb shops, like, there was this tea and it was called galactagogue. And I was like, what is that? And then I found out.
Star Trek or something.
Yeah. I found out what it was and what it was for. And yeah, so if you're looking up herbs and it says galactagogue, it's going to help your milk supply.
Yep.
But I heard, like, this one herbalist say too, they're like, think of, like, when you think of a milk producing animal, what do they eat? They eat greens, they eat oats, they eat that kind of stuff, so that's what you really want. It's a lot of your diet. You want to focus in on that. Like you're saying, the oats help you a lot. I eat oats all the time.
Yep.
But yeah, so start with the diet too, add those greens, add those oats, and then the parsley family. So that's your parsley, your dill, fennel, anise, those type of things you can add in. A lot of times it's the seed. So you'll do it too with fennel seed, anise seed, dill seed.
I've seen fennel in breastfeeding things. I haven't seen the others though.
Anise tastes really good too. It's got like a black licorice taste, like a good one, not like a gross one. And then to the blessed thistle combined with the fenugreek. So fenugreek does work for you. That combination is very effective with those two together. But then milk thistle too, which is, obviously in the thistle family.
Right.
That one works really good too.
That's also super good for your liver.
Yes.
That's what I was taking when I had the hepatitis C before it was cured.
Didn't your mom like cure herself with it?
Yeah, she has.
Yeah. Yeah.
She cured it. They can't officially say, but it's non-detectable. It's not detectable in her blood. Yeah, it was the milk thistle that she did it with.
Yeah, so that's another good detoxing one. I've been trying to talk Amy into doing some detoxing ones with me. Yeah.
Yeah, I need it too. I should start taking it again.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge thing too. We're nutrient deficient. We're filled with toxins. It's a proactive thing. It's not something that you just like, one day wake up and you're sick. It's like, try to get to it before that. Right. You know what I mean?
It's a preventative.
And the detox is a huge part of that. And when you're pregnant and then you give birth and it's just,
it depletes you
so much.
I feel depleted right now because I've had the two so close together. Two babies in 2 years.
Yes. And so yeah, alfalfa. That's another one. And
I've heard that.
This is huge in it's very nutrient dense. So that's, you're adding those nutrients and things that you need, boost your supply. It's high in vitamin C. It's an antioxidant and K. So it's good to start drinking things like alfalfa. I would add that to my late pregnancy tea because then you're upping your K for your baby. Like if you're me and you don't do vitamin K shots, then, you up that and just get it good in your body. And nettle. I was going to touch on nettle later because that is like one of my favorite herbs. Is basically like a multivitamin in an herb. Like it's very nutrient dense, very vitamin dense. I add it to pretty much any tea I make. I throw some nettle in there.
I feel like moringa is like that too. And here's the moringa I take. And it says it's a super, and I can tell when I take these, this might be too much information, but my pee is really yellow. And this is supposed to be packed full of vitamin B's. So, and you can always tell when you're taking a lot of vitamin B's when it gets that way.
Yep.
So,
yeah. So, I just pulled a quick milk tea recipe. If anybody wanted to like make their own or see what they had or see what's like kind of in one. But basically that red raspberry leaf, the alfalfa, nettle, dandelion, fennel seed or fenugreek, blessed thistle. Cinnamon is one of my favorite things to flavor with. I put cinnamon in everything. And so then just
that would make a big batch too, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so it was basically like half a cup red raspberry, half a cup alfalfa, and then a quarter cup of the nettle, dandelion, fennel seed, and blessed thistle. I would store it in like a quart jar and then just, and if you don't like hot tea, this is what I was trying to get my sister-in-law to do. Like if you don't like hot tea, make an iced tea. You know, sweeten it with stevia, sweeten it with honey, whatever you want to do. Try to steer away from the sugar if you can. I know it's hard. But yeah, and keep it in your fridge. And that way you can just go, like if I have to, like my late pregnancy teas, a lot of times I'll make it iced because it's a big red raspberry one. And I'll just make it iced and I'll just try to drink it all day long instead of water. Right. You know, because if you're trying to drink 4 cups of hot tea a day, that can get really annoying.
I do it all the time.
Well,
I love my
cold
tea.
weather, but then imagine if it's like summer, you don't want to do like hot tea all summer.
Yeah, I do iced tea a lot in the summer.
You know, so that's another tip if you're just not a hot tea drinker. Like make it iced, sweeten it up. It still has all the medicinal benefits. So, yeah, so then PMS, like menstruation, again, like we were talking about, that chasteberry, that Vitex, it's something I would start with. That's where I would go to. It's a powerful hormone balancer. And I've seen you can get it powdered too. So like you could add it to smoothies or whatever. But I did find that if you are on birth control, which I know most of us aren't, but if you are for some reason, even medical reason, like to stay away from it, it can mess with that.
The chasteberry can?
Yep. And then if you're on anything that affects your pituitary gland, it was saying. So I forget what that was. I think it was like Parkinson's or something like that. But yeah, again, so if you're on prescriptions, again, just check with whoever you're getting those through. And not during pregnancy. Chasteberry is not good during pregnancy. It's messing with your hormones. It can cause miscarriage.
Yeah. Now, the chasteberry is in the conception. And I noticed on the conception, or when I first got pregnant on it, I did not go off right away. Okay. The chasteberry, because I got pregnant on the chasteberry. I just kept taking it for the first 3 months. Yep. Because I had read that if you did stop cold turkey, that could cause an upset.
Yeah, and think about it, because you had regulated your body to that hormone balancer. You know, so if you just take that off cold turkey, it's going to mess with you. Or if you just start it cold turkey.
Exactly.
Like if you just start it and you're pregnant, then it's going to mess with your hormones that way.
Yeah, and then Joyce asked, are there any big ones to avoid while pregnant? I know pennyroyal will cause miscarriages. Do not drink pennyroyal.
Yeah, anything that's a immunogogue. Like anything like that, there's quite a bit out there that I would avoid while you're pregnant, especially early pregnancy. The farther along you get, the less effective, because I mean herbs in general are a gentle way to treat things.
Black walnut hull. Do not take that. And then that actually brings on labor.
That's extremely powerful. So there
Clary sage. Clary sage brings on labor. Don't use that. I don't know why you'd be using that, but
there's that. There's I just had it in my head while we're.
Those are the black walnut hull and blue. Is there a blue walnut hull?
No, but blue cohosh.
That's it.
Yep. Don't do it. Some people say you can.
Combination. No.
Yeah, some people say you can, and like I really talked with my midwives about it because one of them was a herbalist too, and we were talking, and they have a saying, and they say if you use blue cohosh, you're gonna have a blue baby. Like they're just like it's not good. There's not a lot of scientific evidence, but in the midwife's world, like they say, like it's just not good. They don't know the correlation, but because there was I got that gentle birth extract for this time with Silas, and I did really like it. And they do one with blue cohosh in it, and I was just
my sister took one too.
Yeah,
one of her babies,
and I was just
it had the cohosh in it.
Yeah, so stay away from that. Like I'm going to say here, the black cohosh is a very strong hormone balancer, uterine health. It specifically balances estrogen. So like if you kind of know or can find out like, hey, are you lacking in the estrogen department, progesterone department, you know, what you're doing. This specifically targets estrogen and balances it out. It relieves anxiety, muscle tension, and it improves your mood. But again, avoid it, they say, in your first trimester. And if you have liver disease. So if you're struggling with something in your liver, I would stay away from it. But again, these were I was focusing just for PMS. So obviously you're not pregnant.
Right.
If you're PMSing.
Yeah, exactly. And someone asked, were there any suggestion on herbs to help post miscarriage? And pretty much anything that'll help your hormones, right?
Yeah, I would say go with a hormone balancer, and then maybe something like a St. John's wort or something that's just going to help calm that, because that's just going to be hard. That's just hard no matter what you're doing, no matter where you're at in your pregnancy. It's hard. I remember because I had like one really early miscarriage once, and my midwife was so sweet, and she was just like, it doesn't matter how early it is. Like, it's still, because like you said, the second you see those lines, your mind you're gone.
Right,
You're already with that baby. Like,
you already have all these dreams and picking out names and
Yep. So yeah, I would definitely get something that's going to help balance the moods and those hormones, because your hormones are going to be wild for a while.
Yeah.
Ladies' mantle. That was something I wanted to throw out there.
Isn't that funny how a lot of the things have the mother or lady or, they have that in the name of it.
Yep. I like it because they kept it simple back in the day.
Right.
We like to keep it confusing now. They kept it simple. But yeah, so ladies' mantle. They say it's super helpful to women at all stages, helping to regulate from your menstruation to helping to ease menopause. This one would be good if you do have a heavy flow. They were saying I want to try to find one for each, or bleeding in between your periods. It helps stop that and just regulate. Again, caution if you're pregnant. They did say they used it in late pregnancy for stabilizing the blood and everything. So like you don't bleed too much or whatnot. So, and then black haw.
Heard of that too.
So yeah, black haw. This calms you down, eases menstrual symptoms, especially cramps. This is, they said it's a cousin to the cramp bark. So it's going to help any sort of pain and stuff like that you're having, like if you cramp really bad and everything else. Oh, but this one was cool because it was more beneficial for someone who suffers with PMS because it works as a tonic instead of just dealing with your symptoms. It actually helps clean the blood they were talking about. So I thought that was interesting. I really like that. So instead of just going to that cramp bark, I might try black haw if you're dealing with that. Or cramp bark after postpartum, you know why you have it,
Right.
Yeah. So, and vervain. I put down vervain. So that is a relaxant, also a galactagogue, antispasmodic. This one helps ease headaches, nervous tension, and also depression. So
I've never even heard of that herb.
Vervain, I've come across it, but most of the time I go to valerian. So I haven't quite used that one too much, but I thought it was interesting to throw out there.
Joyce asked any advice on how to safely regulate mood swings. Now, are you talking mood swings when you're pregnant or mood swings, PMS mood swings? Because we covered that earlier. There's a lot of good stuff.
Yep. And I think the biggest thing with mood swings, like my mood swings are just like, I'm just super stressed out.
Yeah.
Like when I'm mood swinging, it's because I'm stressed. And so that's where I would pull out the valerian, pull out something calming, pull out, don't underestimate a cup of chamomile tea.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you don't have to get all crazy with all sorts of crazy herbs. Like seriously, sometimes just a cup of tea and a, hey, mom needs 5 minutes.
Exactly.
And that'll do wonders.
Chamomile tea too, that's safe all the time.
All the time. I even give that to my babies. I'll even give it to I give it to my baby now and he's just 3 months old. So
I need to try that with
Hannah.
I should have tried that. I need to try that with Kelly right now.
Calm her down.
Kelly, drink the tea. That's funny.
Maybe throw a little valerian in there.
Yes, there you go. Drink it.
Funny story, when we were coming back and forth when we lived up in Wisconsin, it's a 4.5 hour drive, and we had twins, and Thaddeus is just crazy.
Yeah.
And so I would give him tea bottles with valerian in them for the ride home because it's just go to sleep, baby.
Better than Benadryl.
Yeah. This is a natural sleep.
Yeah, natural. Yeah, she said she's 7 weeks pregnant and losing her mind. Oh, buckle up, honey. This is her first one, too.
Yeah, that's hard. And your hormone, remember, that's, I think the thing that helps me out the most is just remembering that your hormones are going crazy. You're not going crazy. Your hormones are going crazy. Yes. And it's natural. And, I think that helps me bring it under when I'm because you always go through the stage too after you have the baby where you're just ready to snap on anything and everything. And it's just okay, I try to catch myself and be okay, we're in a really hormonal period. I need to just back up and just have some space. Yeah.
I just remove myself from the situation if I have to.
You do?
Go in my room,
shut your door.
Close the door, especially when you're trying to nurse with me and Hannah. It was awful. I'm trying to get her to latch, and she's screaming, and then Kelly's screaming, and
Yes, it can get out of control the more littles you have running around.
For sure.
But one herb that I really just wanted to mention is holy basil. Tulsi is what it's called. So basil is really good too. Headaches. Basil is something I might try for nausea as well. It really just helps calm the whole system down. So yeah, I forgot who asked that, but maybe try some basil tea if you can't tolerate the peppermint or ginger or anything like that. Basil might help. But yeah, so holy basil is a little bit different than sweet basil.
Never heard of it.
So like Rosemary Gladster is a herbalist that I started with. She's very new agey though. So if that bothers you, then I would steer clear of her. There are other people out there you can go to. But I remember when she would talk about holy basil, she said it this way, where she's like, if it's just like an illness or a sickness, I'll give somebody sweet basil, like a headache, anything like that, sweet basil. But if it's like for a long term, you're just feeling worn out, then I would do holy basil. It's kind of like a vitality tonic type thing. Like it just adds energy. It just helps regulate everything. Restores vitality is how they like to say it. It's really good for long-term use. Not a lot of things are. So that's something. Nettles too is good. Like I throw nettles in everything. I also throw holy basil in everything that I can.
So you say you throw nettles in. What is it? What is nettles? Like dried nettles?
Dried nettles, yeah.
Okay.
Just like the leaves. Yeah, it's basically what you use.
Do you like use a tea ball, or how do you?
Well, yeah, like you could use a tea ball if you're just making a cup. I typically use my French press.
Oh, okay.
So like, instead of coffee, I just throw whatever herbs in there, and then
that's a good idea.
Yeah, I know.
Because then you're just keeping all of them contained.
And then you just push your little press down. You can just pour your tea out. It's like my favorite teapot. Like it's my French press.
I don't even have a French press. I need to get one. They're really cheap off Amazon.
Yeah, they are. And my husband just broke mine the other night. And like, which is funny because he drinks tea with me. He doesn't drink coffee, but he'll drink tea. And so I told him, I was like, well, since you broke it, I can get another one, right? And he's like, yeah. So I was super excited.
That's funny.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I use. Just basically making tea is just basically put it in hot water and strain it out. However you can do that. I mean, I used to do it in mason jars, and then I'd take like a strainer and like dump it through a strainer into something if you want to make a big pot. They have little individual strainers you can stick in your cup that I have. So
Angeli asked where, or no, she didn't ask, but we'll get to this too. But KJV asked, where is a good place to buy good quality herbs?
Yes, I have a couple of those written down here. So so holy basil and then nettles I put on again. Seriously, those two are like
the best.
Yeah, like if you're gonna just make teas and you just want like a filler in there for like just good all around nutrients and just health, then that's what I do.
Would that help energy? They were asking about things to help energy.
The holy basil is what I would go to
holy
for
basil.
The energy. Yep, yeah. And then if you want like coffee energy, yerba mate is a herb that's gained a lot of popularity
I've heard
for good reason. I mean, they make energy drinks out of it. So yeah, like I think it's like from the Amazon part, and like the people down there like make big giant energy drinks of yerba mate. And but yeah, so yeah, those two. And then I found this interesting when I was looking up at the nettles too, is that it was used for joint pain, which I didn't know. Anywhere from growing pains in children all the way to arthritis. So that was just another thing. I know a lot of people.
That's the nettles?
Yeah, the nettles. Yep. It helps your liver and reproductive organs. And used in PMS remedies, they said. And then I also came across one that I thought was worth mentioning, was squaw vine.
Yeah, I've never heard that.
Never heard of it either. I just came across it.
Squaw in it.
Yeah. And I figured we're looking up women things, clearly it's going to have something to do with women.
That's funny.
And it's also native to North America. So it's something that like grows around here and whatnot. And obviously the Indians used to use it.
Right.
In Native Americans, sorry. Be politically correct. But so I came across this. I thought it was worth mentioning because they use it during pre-pregnancy for conception. So it helps assist in fertility. They use it throughout pregnancy to regulate progesterone. So it also helps to prevent miscarriage.
Interesting.
So if you're lacking,
progesterone.
So if you're lacking in the progesterone area, this is actually one that focuses on that hormone.
Oh, cool.
So they did use it to help prevent miscarriage, and they also use it in labor and delivery to help. They'd use it for safe passage of the mother and baby. So just another one to add to that late pregnancy tea. Again, check with midwives. I'm not super familiar with it, but I thought that was interesting.
That is interesting.
And then also did I put it on here? The black haw I have used personally. Did I put that on here? Okay, no. The black haw I've used personally also to help prevent, this is all within reason, miscarriage. I'm not going to say, I mean, that's up to the Lord. If you're, my one midwife told me that too. Like, she struggled with very late term miscarriages and things like that. And she would tell me, and she's just like, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. But something like the squaw vine with the progesterone and then the black haw will actually stop contractions. And so when I was pregnant with the twins, I had a scheduled C-section, and about 5 days before I started getting really heavy contractions. And I did not want to go into labor when I had one scheduled 5 days out. So I started taking the black haw, and it really did stop my contractions.
Made them subside.
So, yeah. I mean, obviously, like I said, it's not going to stop it if it's going to happen. But it's something to keep in mind.
But then sometimes women like Amanda, her problem was she was low in progesterone. So, she takes the progesterone, her body carries the baby full term. So
yeah. So that's something that I would like if I were going to make my own teas or something like that. And I know I have that issue. That's something I would throw in there, you know, just to help. Okay. Yeah. So then I've got a couple more recipes that I did. So this one was called Happy Uterus Tea. And it was 1/2 cup lady's mantle, 1/2 cup red raspberry leaf, and 1/4 cup lemon balm. And the
that probably makes it taste yummy.
Yeah, that raspberry and lemon balm is going to be really good. Yes. So that's it. And I thought it was simple. I like things that are simple. Like, you don't have like 12 ingredients to go get.
Right.
And, if you're doing lady stuff already, you probably had red raspberry leaf sitting around. So
yeah.
This one was chaseberry and rose tea. I'm not a huge fan of rose. I don't know if you've ever had it in tea.
I've never tried it tastes,
orally. It tastes like it smells. So like,
okay, like a flower.
Yeah, like it's very floral, and I found I'm not a huge fan of floral, ingesting floral things.
Right.
But some people really like it. So if that's your thing, then this is something I would try. But this was so 1 tablespoon rose, and then the rest are a teaspoon of chaseberry, hibiscus, star anise, cinnamon, and then you can just sweeten it. Yeah, so I think it would taste really good. And you've got that chaseberry in there and the hibiscus, and I just thought it sounded yummy.
The hibiscus would be good.
Yeah, for ladies.
So yeah, we mentioned for energy, holy basil is one of the things.
Yep. And then, like I said, if you're looking for like caffeine energy, that yerba mate would be.
Yerba mate.
Yep. So then some trusted sources for herbs. Mountain Rose Herbs is my first and foremost, but they can be pricey. So that's where they're not horribly priced, but you will pay shipping. Like, I've never been able to find free shipping through Mountain Rose. So that's the one thing with Mountain Rose. Frontier Co-op, I really like. I used to order on Amazon. I've been trying really hard to steer away from Amazon lately.
Have you?
I've been trying really. It's practically
shame on me.
No, well, now that I'm trying to steer away from it, I'm realizing how hard it really is.
Yeah.
I will go to manufacturers' websites and you'll look at the price, and it will bring you to Amazon. Like, you have to buy through Amazon almost for some stuff.
Because the Star West Botanicals, isn't that on
and
Amazon?
Frontier, both of them.
I bought that off Amazon before.
Yeah, I bought both of those off there. Now, Star West, I haven't looked into their manufacturer's website because, like I said, I typically bought it off Amazon. Right. But I have gone to Frontier, and they have free shipping on over like $50 or something like that. And for me, that's pretty easy to get to. So
it would be if we made any of these teas.
Yeah.
Because you're pretty much buying them in bulk too, aren't you?
Yeah, it's worth it. And then, like, if you want to preserve them too, like I don't know if anybody has a food saver or whatnot, but you can just vacuum seal them in your jars. Like if you're really not going to use them for a long time, just vacuum seal them into a jar, get that air out of there, and it'll store indefinitely. It won't go stale. I mean, really, it wouldn't go stale anyways, but if you're worried about it, like you're not going to use it. But yeah, so Frontier Co-op, they do have free shipping if you get a certain amount. And all of these really good herbs. Frontier, you have to double check, see if it's organic. But if it is organic, then it really is. And it's trusted. So yeah, and then some books. Like I said, that Home Herbal, I really like. The only thing about it, I will do a word of caution, is they have it listed with the Latin name first. So if you're going to look it up, like, I typically like, I kind of like use another book to like find the Latin name, and then I like look it up in here if I want. This one has so many, like over half this book is just like recipes and like certain ailments. And then in the back, what I really liked about this book was it had tips on growing herbs and like starting them.
Do you think this is your favorite book about herbs that you found?
For certain things, I guess.
Honestly, easy for beginners.
No. I mean, it would be as far as like showing you how to do stuff, giving you the herbs, the basic outline of it. Honestly, the easiest one to start with was that Rosemary Gladsters. I started with her medicinal book for beginners. And it's really not that weird. It's just if you read her personal stories, it very clearly comes across that she's new age. Like, you know, so, but as far as like the actual recipes and everything go, like that one was laid out so simple, and it's like really basic stuff, because some of your most powerful medicinal herbs are actually your culinary herbs. So like your cayenne, your garlic, your basils, tarragon, oregano, all those things are going to be some of your most powerful medicinal herbs.
I swear by oregano.
But there's this lady that I really like, that if anybody who's been talking to me for the last month knows, I've been watching her constantly. Her name is Heidi on Rain Country on YouTube. And she recommended the Homesteaders, the Herbal Companion for the Homesteader or something like that. Homesteaders Herbal Companion, just it's there. That is on my to get list. Like that one, like she told me, because she really liked that Rosemary Gladster, but again, she's like, you know, super new agey. She's like, so if that bugs you, she really recommended that one. So that's one I really want to go look at.
A lot of the herbs that we talked about, I actually did a blog post the last time I had you on, and I had links to everything. I will repost that blog post, and that book was on it too. I remember seeing the picture.
Yep, and you can find that on Amazon. That's easy. And thrift books, you guys. Like if I find something that I want, I haven't been having luck lately. All my books haven't been on thrift books, but I really like checking that. So yeah, Rosemary Gladsters, I do like that. If that doesn't bother you, that she's new agey. The Homesteaders Herbal Companion is on my to-go. Wise Women Herbal for the Childbearing Years. I believe this is Susan Weed's book. That one that's kind of like a classic as far as like having some of these herbs in it for women's health and stuff like that. So
someone said, before the show ends, can you point to a herb for constipation? Do you know of any for that?
Oh man, where's Amy? There's a tea. It's called Smooth Move. You can get it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
you can get it.
It's organic. Walmart has it.
Walmart. It's so Traditional Medicine is a tea company that sells in most grocery stores. They have one called Smooth Move.
That's what I'm drinking. Their breastfeeding one right now.
Yeah, the mother's milk. Yeah. I really like their teas. I would highly recommend.
Amy just said, "Oh yeah."
What's that called in there?
I think it's Smooth Move. Yeah. There's
an herb in there though. That's I can't think of the name of the herb, but that in that tea is that herb, and that works very well.
Nice.
So also senna. Yep. There you go. Senna. So yeah. And castor oil.
Jen just said, I think it's called Smooth Move. And then someone I saw, essential oils for bath while pregnant. And then Angeli asked if we ever did essential oils in our diffuser. I do. We do all the time.
Yeah, I do too. Yep. Yeah.
I have something that's one of my favorites. It's from Eden's Garden, and it's called Balance. And it smells so good. I'm not sure of the oils in it, but I do it all the time in the hospital.
Mhm.
And my nurses are always like, "Oh, it smells so good."
Yeah, I did one in
And-
the hospital with the twins, and they'd
Mhm.
walk in and be like, "I love how it smells."
I
in
know. They're
here."
like, "I can smell this from the hallway. It smells so good." And then so now when I use it, it reminds me of when I had my babies,
Mm.
which is a good feeling for me.
Mhm.
I like smelling it. So
Yep.
yeah, I use when I was pregnant, I would use lavender in my bath,
Mm-hmm.
just a few drops to help with
Okay.
my restless leg syndrome.
Yep.
And then I would rub lavender on my legs. That was the only thing that would let me go to sleep sometimes.
Really, I used to have really bad restless leg syndrome.
Only when I'm in my last trimester.
Yep. Yeah, I still get it when I'm pregnant. Now that you say that. Yeah.
Only
Yeah.
my last trimester. So go ahead and leave any questions. I sent Abby a text to bring the babies in, but I might need to go get them. They're over on the other church.
I'm surprised they didn't
The
come
other
in
side.
yet.
I know, I am too. So is there anything else that you wanted to cover? You can cover it while I go grab them.
I don't think so. If you guys have any questions,
You get to see what it's like to fill in.
all by yourself sitting here, this has got to be kind of hard. Well, I'm not sure, but I did want to throw out to you guys. I thought it would be fun. I'm kind of a hobby prepper as well as a hobby herbalist. And so I thought it would be fun to do a prepper herb one, if that makes sense. Top 5 herbs I'd plant, culinary. Because they're so good medicinally, as well as you're obviously going to use them in the kitchen. So I would definitely I always do basil. Yeah, so I do so much basil. Basil, I've mint sitting on my windowsill. Yeah, all those oregano, tarragon, sage. Sage is probably one of my favorite herbs as far as I love just going out in the garden and picking a sage leaf and just smelling it. I'm weird like that, but it's funny because when I bought my house, there was a giant sage plant, and I can't tell you how excited I got.
Here's the babies.
Herbs for fast and easy labor delivery. So
there's Mr. Sumo.
Hi, was he sleeping?
He was almost asleep.
Oh,
She was. She just woke up.
Oh, can you say hi?
Oh, look at them. They're so cute.
Oh.
Hey, Silas.
Denise, I'm not sure about alopecia. I know through going through some stuff, I've come across it, but I don't know anybody, so I've never really focused in on it. But there are some stuff out there. I would dig down some rabbit holes. You might find something.
Oh, herbs for a fast or easy. Did you cover that one?
That's going to be your red raspberry.
Take dates. I swear by dates.
Yeah.
I've done dates my last 2 and fastest, easiest deliveries.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
I did dates. I did castor oil this last time.
Oh, yes, you did.
It worked. It worked.
They are getting sleepy. This one just woke up and he was almost asleep.
Nice. That means you're going to
there
see
goes
for me at the
Posse.
store, hopefully.
There goes the Posse. So they are about 3 weeks apart, and he's like Mr. Sumo. Look at that. You got to show.
Here, let me get your.
Look at him. Show the whole
this
set.
is 6-month close to that I just pulled out
He's huge.
out of the thing. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
There, and she's a little snuffly. She's got a cold. We have a cold going around church. So, yep. But okay, so do you answer all your questions? Yep. All right, guys. So if you make sure that you have any questions, you leave them down below, and I'm sure she'll keep an eye on the comments. And
yes. Yeah.
She can. You got good milk, Nicole. She has a good baby making factory there. I mean, but his dad was huge when he was little, and hi, buddy. Oh, there's a smile.
Hey.
There's a smile.
Hey. Yeah, he's been super gassy, so I've been trying to pump him full of the chamomile and.
Yeah.
Hey.
And they probably need to eat, so we'll probably let you go. Next week, I'm also going to have a show for postpartum. Mrs. Holly Robinson is going to be on. We're going to be talking about everything that you need to know for postpartum. She's getting ready to have her baby, her 4th. So she'll be having a baby soon too. So we're going to be talking about that. So make sure you tune in next week. Like, share this, leave comments, all that good stuff. So we'll see you next. Thanks for coming on.
Yes. Thanks for having me.
All right. Bye, guys.